Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our second council meeting for the month of November. If you all do not have a packet of our agenda, there may be some still in the foyer. If not, you can utilize the barcodes, the QR codes on the back of the rotunda wall, and you can follow along with your electronic device. All right, so today we are going to have the opening prayer led by Pastor Tolan Morgan of Fellowship Bible Baptist Church, and the Pledge of Allegiance to be done by Nathaniel Snyder, Army veteran who works for Public Works. Thank you. So he's one of our own. All right, so if you all would please stand as Pastor Morgan leads us off in prayer.
Let's pray. Father, in Jesus' name, we thank you first and foremost for the gift of life, for it is in you that we live, move, and have our being. Thank you, Lord, that in this new day you saw fit to give us new mercies. And we honor you, we love you, we thank you, we praise you, we exalt you. We put you first in all that we say and do. We ask now, first of all, that you'd forgive us of every sin, that you would fill us afresh with your spirit, that you would lead and guide us by your spirit today. And we thank you that your power and presence isn't just limited to a sanctuary, but you have ambassadors and agents all around the world who carry your heart, who carry your spirit. And we pray that that same sentiment would be ever evident today in this city council meeting. Thank you for our wonderful city of Warner Robins. Thank you for our city leadership, for our mayor, for this city council, for all who work for our city, and for every citizen of Warner Robins. We give you glory, that we will be intentional to do all things that bring you glory and bring good to this people. In Jesus' name, amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Council, we take our photos. All right. Thank you to both Pastor Morgan and for Mr. Snyder for leading us off with our meeting today. I now officially call today's meeting to order. Having no announcements, I'll move on to proclamations, awards, and presentations. And the first will be Employee Service Awards. So if Ms. Melanie Byer would please approach the podium. She is our Director for Human Resources. After her will be a presentation by the Omega Gamma Gamma chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Good evening. We only have one Employee Service Award that we're going to give this evening. We're going to start out with Taylor Wills, a transport officer with the Warner Robins Police Department with 5 years of service.
All right, so now we have the Brothers in Purple, the members of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. You all have a presentation, so if you will please come up to the podium.
Good evening, Mayor Patrick, members of the City Council, city staff, and distinguished guests. On behalf of the Omega Gamma Gamma chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, we thank you for allowing us a moment to bring greetings during this City Council meeting. It is an honor to stand before you as we celebrate Achievement Week and recognize outstanding service within our community. Each November, the men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, through their local chapters, celebrate Achievement Week, the fraternity's first social action program. Inspired by Brother Carter G. Woodson's stirring 1920 address, Democracy and the Man Far Down, Omega answered this challenge by dedicating 1 week each year to motivating others toward greater achievement and uplifting the outstanding accomplishments of individuals within our communities. The Citizen of the Year Award is a cornerstone of Achievement Week, honoring individuals who have made profound contributions to the advancement of the African American community. First presented in 1939 to Judge William Hastie, this award has since recognized trailblazers such as Jackie Robinson and Vernon Jordan, celebrated civil rights champions including Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Thurgood Marshall, uplifted literary giants like Lorene Hansberry, and acknowledged political leaders such as Reverend Jesse Jackson, Senator Eric Brooke, and Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. Today, the Omega Gamma Gamma chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated recognizes Mayor LaRonda Patrick of Warner Robins for her historic and sustained leadership. As the first woman and first African American elected as the mayor of Warner Robins, she has guided our city through a period of revitalization and renewal. Under her leadership, the downtown district has transformed. What was once under 1 acre of city ownership is now over 70% of the expanded tract, a clear sign of bold vision and execution. She has championed the creation of Haven Hope House, the city's first homeless shelter. The city's and pioneered initiatives to increase affordable workforce-friendly housing options. Her focus on public safety has helped to reduce serious crimes while enhancing community engagement with the police and fire departments. Her strong partnership with the military community, especially with Robins Air Force Base, and her pursuit of a Vietnam Veterans Memorial reflect a broader commitment to service and legacy. Mayor Patrick's dedication to professional excellence in city leadership, evident in her recent certificate from the Georgia Municipal Association, sets a standard for servant leadership. Her theme, Our City, Our Future, aligns seamlessly with our fraternity's mission of uplifting outstanding achievement in for our community. It is with pride that we name Mayor LaRondra W. Patrick as our Citizen of the Year honoree, recognizing how her service has advanced the African American community, strengthened the city of Warner Robins, and embodied the values we celebrate during Achievement Week.
Thank you all so much. You guys, I had no idea, but just hearing all the individuals who were honored across our nation to receive this award, and for you to say my name, it just really warms my heart. I do this because it's my passion. I think it's my calling. I love what I do. I love my team, and we're doing some amazing things together. And all it took was someone who put people over politics, and that's what I do. That's what my brothers do up here. And hopefully the energy we have changes the trajectory of what elected officials are in our community. So thank you so much for thinking about little old me for this very prestigious award. It really does mean a lot. So since I can't hug all of you, I'll do like my pastor does, and we'll do a big group hug. But you know, whenever I see you, I always pay respect to the Omegas, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much for all that you all do in the city. You do a lot of projects with us. People don't really know that, but we make sure we always speak your praises. So thank you, and thank you. All right, so we have now that we have completed the proclamations, awards, and presentations, we're moving on to our work session items. We have the agenda to discuss and a couple of named agenda items, which is the code enforcement update and also facilities maintenance. So Mr. Drinkard, if you will please start us off with the agenda discussion. Gentlemen, councilmen, if there's any items you see that you'd like to discuss, now is our time to do so.
Councilman, Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to, if we can get some detail about item number 4 for the public.
Item number 4. Let's see here. The intergovernmental agreement with respect to the Drug Task Force and Gang Task Force. Effectively, we've been part of a task force now for quite a while. There is a realignment that is occurring. Houston County and Lawrence County will be part of a new Oconee District Task Force. And this is an identical agreement to that which we currently work under, but is aligned with that Oconee District. If you'd like additional detail, Chief Fisher would be much better equipped to provide that.
That's fine. I just wanted to, to put out to the public exactly what that meant, what their resolution was.
Yes, sir. It's been being part of that task force has been a very effective tool for us locally and for the region. So there are a couple of items, if you don't mind, that I would like to call out. Yes, sir. Oh, Mr. Holmes, I do apologize. F9. Okay. The Parker Young Construction. Ms. Mize, would you like to?
This is an item that's being handled through our risk management line. It's related to a mitigation that the police department undertook for some property damage that occurred at the same time as a lawful arrest and I believe a search warrant execution. So as a courtesy and part of the good community service that our police department provides, Parker Young remediated a structure, and that's what that expense is.
To be clear, the structure is not owned by the perpetrator that our officers were dealing with. Councilman Lawrence.
These may already be on your list, but I was just curious about the annexations 9 and 10.
Yes, sir. Actually, I was going to ask Mr. Curtis to come forward and address all of the land use items on tonight's agenda. Mr. Curtis, if you'd like to go ahead and come forward at this time.
Any particular order you want to go in? Okay. My phone's dead, so I can't see the first one is the PDR?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so among the zoning action items on tonight's agenda, the first one to appear is a plan development conceptual plan revision. This property is it's located in the northeast quadrant of Tallulah Trail and Southland Station Drive. This project has previously come forward with a townhome concept. The most recent revision, and the one that you have in front of you, is to change that concept to a single-family detached product. It is effectively a reduction of 50%, so in density, number of units. So staff supports this this revision to the conceptual plan previously approved. At this time, we've gotten all the comments back from our department, and they've satisfied all of the outstanding comments. So we do offer support for this revision. Certainly happy to go beyond if you have any other questions about that. But to summarize, it is simply a reduction in density and a pivot from a townhome product to a single-family detached on individual building lots.
In reference to that property, I remember last time we spoke about it, there was some talk about a sidewalk. Is this the same? So is that still being implemented there as well?
So this plan does not include a sidewalk along the perimeter of the project. The last version that was proposed as a revision was proposed specifically to eliminate the sidewalk that was shown around the perimeter of the project, and that was requested based on the fact that there is not an existing network of sidewalk in that area, and that revision was approved previously by council. So this new layout did not include sidewalk.
So, but, I'm sorry, if I'm not mistaken, we asked if we could have was it a right-of-way, so we could, in the future, potentially place sidewalks?
So that actually was assessed at the time it was requested by council, and determined that the sidewalk, if we ever, in the future decide to install sidewalk, there would be adequate spacing in the existing right-of-way, and so there's not a need to acquire additional right-of-way from this property. Okay, all right. Up next, there is a request to annex property at the southwest corner of Welborn Road and Russell Parkway. This is currently a vacant parcel of land, but it has been acquired by Boeing, and it is intended, if approved, to be incorporated into the primary function of the facility there at Boeing, and serve as an overflow parking area. So plans have been reviewed by both Houston County and City of Warner Robins staff, and tentatively approved pending approval of the annexation. So that is effectively the purpose and intent of the request to annex that property. There will not be, to my understanding, a need for any service utility other than power on that site, because it's just going to be overflow parking.
Will they, well, we know that intersection, it can get busy right there at times with semi-trucks, to be specific. Has there been an analysis to see what we need is regarding pedestrian safety? And will
Yes.
those updates be done by the city or by Boeing?
So the developer will be responsible for any upgrades.
Good.
And those have been incorporated into the design. It includes crosswalks that will be located in the intersection, as is standard. So it won't cross midway in the road. It will actually require a sidewalk to be extended up to the intersection so you can cross where you can see, basically.
Will they also have the functions that tell you, the little man, they know when you see the man, you can cross. When you see the hand, you stop. I don't know what that thing's called.
So from recollection, I believe it is a flashing yellow caution light rather than a changing thing. I think it's a constant flash during those hours. But again, it will be located in the intersection where there's already a traffic signal. That was, again, because those plans had been submitted. The property's being currently in the county. It's been reviewed by the county engineer's office. But because we anticipate that it would need to be annexed to really be utilized legitimately as part of an existing city facility, we went ahead and did a preliminary review as a courtesy. So all of our engineering staff was good with the design and the way that they proposed the crossing. So that is incorporated into this.
Thank you.
Mayor, while we're talking about this intersection, Mr. Drinker, can we get traffic to look at that intersection and to adjust the lights on Welborn Road a little bit? I know cars stay there forever trying to cross Welborn Road onto Russell Parkway, and I know it's probably there because the traffic has been light. But if we could get traffic to go over there and look at Welborn Road going both ways now that this is fixing to maybe change some things to adjust that traffic light, I would appreciate it.
Yes, sir, we'll do an analysis at that location and make sure that it's optimized for the traffic pattern.
And in addition, if I may add, Mr. Drinkard, now that, the furloughs and thing, traffic is backed up all the way from the gate at Robbins all the way up to Welborn Road in the mornings. and coming off base, they're leaving the base. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that there's much that we're going to be able to do about that backup. That's got more to do with, them processing through security at the base. But in terms of what we can control, we definitely will take a look at that.
And then last on my list is an annexation that is regarding a property in the southwest quadrant of Oasis Avenue and South Houston Lake Road. The request is to annex the property at its current county zoning, which is C2. If approved, the petitioner intends to develop a wealth management institution. It'll be an office building, a brick office building that will be very similar to the one in the opposing quadrant there across Oasis Avenue. So simply the request is to be able to access city utilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Curtis.
Councilman, the other items I'd like to bring to your attention are actually items F, 3, 4, and 5. These are two purchases with Macon Supply and another with Ferguson Waterworks. And I want to bring this to your attention because it's reflective of a strategy we're putting in place. Historically, the city has acquired materials for maintenance of our utilities, pipe, fittings, meters, et cetera, in small batches. And we're transitioning that to larger purchases that will allow us to capture, allow us to be more cost effective. We'll have savings as a result of those larger purchases. It will also eliminate a trend that we had towards a lot of quote unquote emergency purchases. We were rushing purchases through because we weren't planning well enough, quite frankly. And so this allows us to address that so it's more efficient and more cost effective to our taxpayers. So that's something we're working on overall and is just part of our efforts towards efficiency and improving overall service to the taxpayer. We do have another item well, that comes up. Let's see, where is it? There it is. Yes, sir.
While you're in that neighborhood, address F2.
Oh, I was hoping you'd say that. That was the item I was going to next. I love it. We're on the same page, sir. I love it. So that is a $46,000 purchase for replacement of an engine in the router truck for our utilities division. Replacing that engine will allow us to extend the life of that router truck, and this is important because a router truck is a $500,000 piece of equipment, and we have to have them. Those are used to keep our sewer lines clear, so we don't have backups. I don't think any of us want that. So that's what that is about. Let's see. The other item deals with, it's item 5 on the agenda, which is a budget transfer. This relates to Haven Hope House. It's the last purchase that we have to make with Haven Hope House. And this relates to the security systems and fire systems. So this is fire alarm monitoring, security alarm monitoring, and all of the cameras and whatnot that we have to have for that. We're actually transferring funds that were generated by interest earned off of our ARPA dollars that had come into us. So these are, for lack of a better term, add-on funds or icing funds. Haven Hope House was operational last week. We opened it up Monday and Tuesday when we saw that unexpected and rather early cold snap come through. The first night we only had 5 individuals arrive, but on Tuesday night we served 20 people at Haven Hope House, And the folks from the Assembly, while we don't have contracts executed with them, they stepped up and joined with us so that we could make that operational and serve in its intended capacity. We're very, very proud of how that came together. And for a first run of the operations of Haven Hope House, it went very smoothly. So really happy about that. Are there any other items that you'd like to discuss or that you have questions about?
Might as well go ahead and hit number 6.
Okay. So this is the classification plan update. So the primary on this deals with our with creating the position of Assistant Director of Building.
My 6 is listed as something different.
Your 6 says something different? What is?
Number 6, not normal.
Yeah, number 6 is about the purchase approval for Southern System Technology security system. I think that's what you were just
That's what
talking
I was talking about before.
For the security
I
system for Haven Hope
apologize.
House.
Ms. Stella and I were talking right before the meeting started, and there was an update that was made to the packet after I downloaded it that I was unaware of. So that is the, and on my agenda, I had that same item in 2 places. So your item 6 is what I was talking about before with Haven Hope House and the security system. So I do apologize for that confusion. It's, so it relates to a budget transfer of funds from ARPA interest dollars and the purchase of the security system, alarms, fire alarms, and security cameras for Haven Hope House.
Somewhat confused. This says City Administrator's Office.
That's just because the item is coming from, it's an item that was generated by my office. It's got nothing to do with my office other than the fact that a department brings an item forward, and this one happened to come from mine.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that. I do apologize for the confusion. Any other agenda items? Okay, very good. The next item on tonight's workshop, Chief Fisher is going to come forward. I asked him to bring an update for you on activity related to our code enforcement function. Since that was moved into the police department, to be blunt, I'm very proud of the work that our code enforcement division has been doing. You asked them to be aggressive and to get out there and make a difference in the community, and that difference has been significant. And so Chief Fisher is here. He's going to give an update on the activities of that group. They are all here tonight. Gentlemen, would you mind please standing for me? All of our code enforcement officers. These gentlemen have been having an outsized impact on our community in a very positive way. So, gentlemen, come on into the room. Yeah, oh, there's a lady in there. So we're going to make you stand there while Chief Fisher says good things about you.
Well, I feel bad for the team because while I might like it to be incredibly short, it might be a little bit longer than what we'd all want. So I wish to thank the team that's before us because they've made significant differences within the community that many do not see on a day in and day out basis. And those impacts not only affect the quality of life within homeowners, but also do have a secondary, tertiary effect back on our abilities in crime fighting as well as within the city. Back in May 2025, code enforcement was brought into an alignment underneath the police department. During that time, we did a system assessment of the unit underneath the supervision of Captain John Clay, who is in the back. They were assigned up underneath the support services division, and after the 90-day review in June of 25 as well, we assigned Sergeant Carl Thomas. He also is in the back as their direct line supervisor within the unit. By doing that allowed us to structurally look at the needs of the organization of that unit as it existed, what they currently had for resources, and what we expected out of them in the performance of their duties. What was found from a command level decision was that they were not adequately being provided the needed resources or guidance in certain areas to accomplish the task sets that council had envisioned for that unit to be taking place with. In that assessment, we looked at their vehicle fleet and found the fleet to be in significant need of upgrades. We have that on a timeline table to be addressed. The officers' members, as you see them before, in a standardized uniform and appearance were not such at that time. They were not equipped adequately with current vest panels to their vest they wear. Many of the panels were outdated. What many of you don't realize is they are found to be in pretty much equal situations to us as law enforcement as we're dealing with the residents and other persons of nature, if you will, within their duties. The radios that they had did not have them directly integrated in with the 911 system, nor through that point were they actively being monitored from an operational security standpoint as to where their locations were at. To which point, through the city, we acquired them portable radio systems that integrated with our infrastructure that we have within the organization. We further identified that their resources through digital means through the computers, while we might like to issue them the MDT laptops that we have in our patrol vehicles, due to management of cost and budget, we upgraded their iPad system that they have. So again, they have the same capabilities for the most part of what our patrol officers do, just not as ruggedized of a fashion. So again, we can track and monitor their location points, and again, they can enter information onto that data and transfer it out. Code enforcement currently now receives dispatches through the Houston County 911 system, which allows for better management of the staff in regard to the location. We identified that we were going to bring them into alignment of the department where we're into a 7-beat zone area, so they were assigned specific beat zones for responsibility. So that in turn, they can become in part with their community, which they are doing their code enforcement responsibilities with. Code enforcement through this process has also been incorporated through our real-time crime center, through the addition of 4 additional MiFi capable trail cameras, which allow us to place trail cameras out in potential locations where illegal dumping may take place, and for us to get more current real-time information for their activities. With these operational changes and implementations having been identified and made, we'd also determined that there were issues that were taking place in the manner in which cases were being processed through the court. A position which we hold within Warner Robins Police Department from command structure leadership in which we pass down is don't look to pass blame, but to find solutions to the situation you're in. And what we have found that in the past where multiple warnings were given to an offender of a code violation, which sometimes could take up to 2 months to get through to the court, once it was received a court date, that court date itself would take a month to get to. Many times once we got to the municipal court, in a non-judgmental point at which I say the judge would sit there and give a 90-day abeyance for that case to be heard again in 90 days to give the property owner an opportunity to correct the violation. I have heard counsel. I have heard counsel. And counsel's position was the multiple complaints that were coming in with the community from the standpoint of complaints being raised and lack of address from the community and the entity of the code enforcement. Through no fault of their own, code enforcement was following the standards and procedures that were set forth for them to go by. So through these changes in adoption of code enforcement underneath the Warner Robins Police Department, I, Chief Wayne Fisher, instructed code enforcement they would issue a warning to the code violator, and in 15 days, if there was no action taken to correct the issue, a citation was to be wrote to the violator at that point. And for us not to be waiting for a municipal court date to delay an action point to cleaning up the problem, and for us to automatically and start working through a process to go through a cleanup onto that site point. Once we got to court, what you were actually hearing at that time was the fact that the party, the violator, had not addressed the issue, which forced the city at this point to come in and have to resolve that to clean that. At that point, a restitution is applied to the violator, and they were put on probation to make restitution back to code enforcement. That money goes currently to general fund. We're working on an alignment point to better streamline the movement for maintaining the revenue process, as to which I will explain further. Through this process, though, what we have found many times, the property has gone into a point where liens have been applied. Through the appliance of liens, once that's taken place, the code enforcement officers that we see before us have done their job. They've done their duty. It is now a matter of within the collections point for the city on the liens to address what actions take place from there. While we have many stats from the code enforcement unit prior to their adoption over to us, to be clear and concise, since the time in which they came over to the Warner Robins Police Department, there have been over 32 properties that are commercial that have been identified as blight issues, 36 of them being residential. Currently in December, there are 8 properties that will be going up through demolition court, which will be taken care of upon award through the resolution of our budget lines that we have for demolition of such project points. Those locations are 880 Oak Avenue, 110.5 South 3rd Street, 733 Camilla Street, 207 Clay Street, 420 North 6th Street, 802 Pine Street, 215 Utah Avenue, 507 through 511 North Houston Road. This property is currently in the process of being reviewed for a contract sale as well. Current number of properties up underneath lien within the city are 51. What we've seen for invoice monies owed onto that's been unrecouped is $23,245, of which there's $7,650 which are administrative fees also that have not been collected through that process. Current number of cleanups and payment liens that we are currently sitting with are 39, of which there's invoiced of $20,459, with admin fees being $5,750 that is due to be collected by the city. Current number of pending cases with citations and cleanup payments are currently at 10. Therefore, there's $12,900 associated with that and $1,500 into collections on administrative fees. But now when I look just to FY26 in the short period of time the unit has been with us, the unit has worked through and has 9 liens applied to properties. The city has paid out $76,294 in cleaning up property lots. The challenge. That budget line from which this takes place was allocated at $62,550, which forced me to transfer funds from our clearance demo projects, the $215,000, to offset and balance that out. Funds managed through the budget transfer was $20,000, which leaves us about a $6,200 reserve. We're in a winter period of time. So as we start getting ready for spring, I'm looking at the team. They're getting ready to be fired up again. So we're having to address the issues of funds that were brought in through FY26 through other process, which I'll go to those numbers in a minute. But in the process, private property cleanups during this time has been 129. Commercial properties have been 34. The team, also understanding the challenges that exist with the funding and how best to skin a cat, also came up with, on their own, a point of, and we need to get this from Mr. Furman, I think it's been forwarded to you already, but to work in partnership within the community to go ahead and get businesses that are landscapers, arborists, junk removal, and demolition to partner with the city in regards to how we can work with those that are at lower income or age challenges to address the problem as well. As we look at the clearance demolition, what the city has accumulated through what we've pulled from finance, clearance and demolition thus far for this year, they received $3,784 in general fund. The litter lien has drawn in $11,605. Interest based off of deposits made by code enforcement is $16,274 for total funds of $31,663.42. I'm here to stand before you to say, due to the hard work of these men and women here, I'll be requesting an encumbrance in the near future so we can finish off this year for cleaning up by means of utilizing those funds that have already been invested in the cleanup to recirculate back through so we can continue on to address the blight issues which the city is facing. As we look at commercial properties, I too have listened to, again, council raising their concerns. And code enforcement as well is dealing with this. And again, certain properties are put on to lien. And once they're to that point, it's a matter of us to look at how we're going to address it from a standpoint of tax collection through the tax department, as well as the code enforcement, as we've had multiple missions and meetings with the development authority to look at how we can partner in with them to try to get businesses to move into these vacant business lots themselves. So, of all the great things, I've got to sit there and say, this is the greatest thing before me. And these men and women have sat behind the shadows without sunlight or the wind to their sail to push them forward to give them recognition. At this point in time, I wish to thank the team for all that you've done for the city of Warner Robins and give me the availability to have these numbers to present to reflect your hard work that you've done for this fiscal year to where we're at. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief Fisher. Thank you to our code enforcement team. Thank you for all the hard work. I see you guys have been really busy. We do appreciate you, and I love these are new uniforms, right? Something looks
Yes,
different.
ma'am.
They're new, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay, good. All right, well, thank you. We would love to shake your hands as you take your seat. If you come around, behind the table. And again, thank you so much for all of your efforts to clean up our city.
Mayor and Chief, I too would like to commend the patrol group. I have seen a remarkable improvement, and in particular, I speak for the North Davis Drive area. I do have one individual that constantly asks questions, and the questions asked by her is the cleanup on the hill of Green and North Davis. All of the refrigerators and everything else up there. I get a call about that on a regular basis. I ride by there and I look up there on a regular basis. So I do, with all you're doing, I'm going to ask that you look into what can be done to that business.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey,
You come around.
Mayor, while they come around, before Chief Fisher sits down, I want to ask him a couple questions, but we'll let them come around first. Chief Fisher, I wanted to commend you for the work. I know speak for all the council, that this was very important to us along when we had our meeting. And that progress report was outstanding. Very encouraged sitting on this side of the desk. I jumped out of my seat because I got trail cameras, been on my mind about the dumping. And have we seen any success so far from the trail cameras or are we going to put them out, or have we already put them out?
We've already deployed the trail cameras, and we've already had benefit from those trail cameras in being able to identify when the offenses are taking place, or we're being a little bit more prompt in responding to them. What those cameras also allow us to do is allow the code enforcement officers, when they've been assigned to a beat zone as their home territory, if you will, gives them an opportunity to start to pre-plan, thinking about where there might be areas where that dumping may start taking place in the near future, so they're able to be proactive in getting those devices into those areas to start monitoring out.
Okay. The second thing, I'd like to get with you and Mr. Drinkard on the ordinance of our city signs and the businesses that have signs up around our city, the ones that are not maintained, not taken care of, and that have tarps hanging from them for over 2 years, to see if we're aggressively, or that was part of our aggression to go out and hold these businesses responsible for maintaining their signs that they put up in our city right away.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for the hard work. I think this was a great decision to move it over to this department. And thank you to the men and women of the Code Enforcement again for the work that you're doing to help us clean up our city. Keep up the good work. Keep pushing forward. And I, for one, am going to say we're going to do what it takes to find the funds, right, Mr. Drinkard? To get these gentlemen and ladies what they need to continue to make our city look good. And I thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Councilman Bibb, to build off of your last comment, we're working with our finance department to create designated revenue and expenditure lines specific to revenues generated through restitution, fines, and the blight tax, so that those can be targeted for use to continue the effort to address blight and properties of concern within the city.
I just don't want it, I don't want that department to ever get in a bind to where they're scratching for finances. I don't think that department ought to ever be in a situation where they're scratching for funds to continue to make our city look beautiful.
Yes, sir.
And if I may ask, before Captain Clay leaves, I just want to say I want to thank him for always answering the phone, returning text messages, giving statuses on cases, no matter what day, time of night, even on the weekend. He's always on the job, and he assured me that he would address the issues that are being addressed with us, and I want to personally say thank you, Captain Clay.
Councilman, we'll, from time to time, we'll bring forward items like this so that we can spend a little time talking about and presenting to you and to the public aspects of our city operations that a lot of folks probably don't know are happening, and to turn a spotlight on the folks that are out there doing the hard work. Because we've got some folks really doing great work out there. You know, a lot of times, you know, the career path we have chosen means that we hear complaints and don't hear a lot of thank yous. And so sometimes it's important to take that time and turn a spotlight on those folks and let folks know what's happening and the work that's being done. So next item and the final one on tonight's work session.
Mr. Drinker, could I ask one more question about code
Certainly.
enforcement? It sounds like our code enforcement board that we haven't appointed yet could really help move things along even quicker.
Yes,
Where
sir.
are we at on that?
So I'm going through the applications received. We had a number of board vacancies across boards, and so we put a call out, and the community answered, and they answered well. So I'm sorting through those, going through them, trying to identify the best possible candidates for each of the boards so that we can bring those forward. Yes, sir. The anticipation is that we'll have that and be coming forward by the end of the year, presenting some things to you so that in January, to coincide with council terms and mayoral terms, we can make appointments. Okay. Any other questions, comments? All right. The next item on the workshop agenda deals with, it has the innocuous title of facilities maintenance. Facilities maintenance is one of those areas that we do some good work in, but we don't necessarily do efficient work in, and we don't necessarily skate to where the puck is headed. We deal with the problem that's in front of us. So under the previous administration, there was a contract entered into with a company called Schneider. And Schneider came in and did some very good work assessing some of our facilities, assessing needs, and looking at how we can do the job smarter. That work was then not acted upon. Shortly after, well, right about the time I arrived, we put an RFP out on the street to do some of that work, not knowing about the contract. And Schneider went, hey, remember us? And we started talking. So tonight, we've got representatives from Schneider here. Todd and Jen will be coming up here in just a second to talk about how we can go about our facilities maintenance and operations in a smarter, more effective way, and how we can approach it to just generally do a better job and be more cost effective. So, Jen, Todd?
One of those things we're going to look at with facilities is how to make this to where y'all should have to break it next to view what's on screen.
Good evening. How are y'all doing tonight? I appreciate you having us. My name's Todd Smith. I'm with Schneider Electric, and I have Jen Manning with me. And we're going to go over a little bit of the story of how we got here, which is convoluted in some ways. And we're also going to talk a little bit about what we're planning on doing in the future. As discussed, we have a lot of great ideas, and I think there's a huge potential for us to work together in a very exciting way. And so I just wanted to introduce myself. I've been at Schneider for 21 years, pretty much my whole career. I've served in almost every state in the Southeast and spent the last 21 years helping public entities become more efficient, more effective, and have a plan around facilities maintenance and renewal, because that's extremely important. We understand that as public officials, you don't always have all the money in the world, so every dollar that you have, you need to spend in the right way. And so we've developed processes and procedures that help cities just like yourself become as effective as they possibly can be. So I'm going to go through the first slide here, and then I'm going to pass it over to Jen. But as discussed, our original engagement was back in 2016, so I've been in this room probably 20 times before. It feels like home, and I see a few familiar faces here, so I appreciate it. It's good to see you again. We went through a lengthy procurement the first time around, and we fought hard to win your business, and then we entered into our original design phase. We looked at all assets and facilities of the city, including both your public facilities and your water wastewater systems. A lot of ideas were discussed. A lot of great things were understood. And you know, when it came down to the point of implementation, we had some turnover in leadership, and then, like we said, a couple years passed, and then we saw the RFP come on the street. So in engagement back with the city, we have the understanding that our contract still is in place for design and engineering. We have a great leg up on what you already have. And good news for us, maybe not so much for you, but not much has changed since we last left. In terms of facility renewals, there have been some new facilities acquired, but in terms of a lot of your facilities, it is quite the same. And so what we want to talk about today is the re-engagement of our design team. We plan to spend the next several months looking through the facilities. We've already have some key targets identified through your administration on a couple different meetings we've had. Probably build this more in a piloted approach to where y'all can enter into it in more appetizing chunks. As funds are available, we can use those funds in the smartest way. And so we wanted to cover a little bit of that with you. But once we finish up that design, we would enter into a construction. Schneider serves both as design and construction. And then we support all of our cities, counties, school systems, hospitals, state agencies with our work throughout the term of our agreement. We talked about efficiency. That's very, very important. So what we're looking for is any way that we can possibly save this city money while keeping the residents safe and comfortable at the same time. And so I'm going to have Jen talk a little bit about our portfolio here in Georgia.
Thank you, Todd. I'm Jen Manning, and I am based here in Georgia, born and raised in Georgia, and have been with Schneider for my whole career as well, which has been almost 9 years now. And across Georgia, we've actually had a presence in the state for over 50 years, but it was really around 10 years ago that we dedicated resources to the state of Georgia for these types of public sector infrastructure projects. And over that time, we have implemented over $160 million in projects across the state. And with that, actually about a third has been here in the Middle Georgia region of the state. And so, you know, even since our design agreement that we entered into back in 2016, we've done 2 phases of work with Robins Air Force Base. And overall, we've just been able to kind of leverage this expertise and resources that we have as a global leader in this industry to make a big impact here in Georgia. And so when you're looking at these projects, the what of these projects has actually been pretty diverse in the types of projects we've helped tackle. Macon Bibb, for example, we helped them tackle about 24 million in just standard deferred maintenance, catching up on that long laundry list of facility needs. But a totally different approach was with Upson County, where a much smaller county, but they had a specific need at their ball field complex. And so we designed, engineered, and implemented a kind of comprehensive ball field renovation. So the what can be anything. But the why behind why these communities across Georgia are working with us, there are a lot of common themes there. And I would say the number one is city is looking for more of an outcome-driven approach, where, as James mentioned, not taking that reactionary as an issue comes up, addressing it, putting out the fire, which sometimes that's all you're able to do with the resources you have, with the staff you have, but kind of taking a more long-term outcome look to these projects and these initiatives to solve facility challenges and operational gaps. So with that, as we're looking at these projects, we look for all opportunities to streamline your operations. Todd's going to speak a little bit more to this on a specific technology that I think staff is pretty excited about, and the impact it can have on tracking capital assets and better planning and budgeting. But with that, we're looking for every opportunity to provide technology and just provide partnership and support to the city in the gaps that y'all specifically have. And then layered throughout that, this is another common theme, is just driving savings, saving the city money, stretching your taxpayer dollars as far as they can possibly go. So we know, Georgia's lucky to have SPLOST as a resource, but it is definitely not an endless resource. So, really trying to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. So, and a natural question we do get at this stage for those that weren't around when we originally were working is, what does Schneider actually do in this process? Because we're talking a lot about the things we can support, but we do actually do the design and engineering. We manage the construction, but with that management of construction, we are engaging local subcontractors as much as possible. We have a strong track record of that already with our projects we've done in the region. And then we do support the projects long term. And that partnership looks customized to what your specific needs are. But Todd can talk a little bit more about kind of one of those key tools and technology platforms that's making a big impact.
Yep.
When you say local,
Yes.
when you say local, do you mean Warner Robins or do you mean the middle Georgia area? Just asking, because that can be, local could be a broad spectrum by saying local. You could pull people from Atlanta down here. I'm just.
Ideally, it's Warner Robins. But what's most important for us is quality. We want to make sure that it's going to be good contractors that are going to do good work. So one of the things that we've already requested from city staff is, who are the contractors that you like to work with? Who does a good job? And we want to understand that. And if they're not already qualified by our database, we're going to go ahead and get them qualified. We need to make sure that they have the proper insurance, the proper track records, and so forth. But that's a good question. We always want to keep the work local, because we feel like afterwards you get the best service from the people that are local. So
my question is, if you had to go outside of the scope of what we already have locally, how do you go about putting that out there that you require local subcontracting? Mm-hmm. And is it only electrical?
Good. No, great question. So we are able to reach out to obviously our own internal network and whichever network you have in terms of companies that are provided to us, to make sure that we have the broadest reach on different scopes of work. And then once we solicit those, we go through quality checks and make sure that they could actually do the work, so that you're getting both the best balance of quality as well as price within that.
So you entered into contract with the city of Warner Robins in 2016. Two questions. How long is the contract that you entered into, and what have you particularly accomplished with Warner Robins since you entered into contract with us?
Good question. So we have, on our contract, have already completed all walkthroughs of all your facilities and had solutions in hand ready to go. And then, like I said, there was a pause on those and a time period. So we are going to have to refresh a lot of those different options and weigh that with some of the changes and priorities that you have as a city. And then ultimately come back to you with a report and recommendations and a turnkey construction project for you to move forward with. So it has been quite an investment on our part, both from time and money on our contract. So we're excited to have an opportunity to earn your business now with some of the new leadership.
So the contract you entered in, what was the tenure? What's the tenure for that contract? How long was that contract?
It's a design agreement that is open-ended until we provided you the final design, in which you would then have the opportunity to move forward on. And there was no move forward or not move forward on that, and so the contract is still ready to be in place, able to be presented.
My concern is an open-end contract can mean forever.
Yeah.
I need clarity on that.
Councilman Mack?
Go ahead, City Attorney.
It's not a term service, it is a product service that they are producing, and so as a part of that, it has not been actionalized. I think there's been some preparatory work, there's been some discussions that, as have been termed, have been on pause, but now we're ready to resume that conversation. I think they're going to bring back the action steps for your approval, but it is not open-ended in the sense of it's in perpetuity. It is a contract for a product service, might be a good way of thinking about it, and the service is being provided but has not yet been acted upon.
And the other thing I would add to that, Councilman, is we have not been waiting on Schneider. Schneider's been waiting on the city.
I got you.
And I would say you can think of it as a design agreement where there's an exit fee associated with that. And the exit fee was not exercised. We wanted to wait for the city to have new leadership in place and show our commitment to the city in that, so that we can hopefully move forward instead of walking away, which, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Attorney Mize.
Yep. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Any more questions before I move on? Okay. So we also know that you're coming up on a planning session for SPLOST funding. That's going to be an important topic for the city. And so one of the things that I wanted to highlight that has been helping a lot of public entities across the country is one of our tools called Capital Asset Planning. We call it CAP for short. Real creative. But what we have the ability to do is go in and grab every single asset within the city that you would like to see information collected on. And so that can be anything from roofing to HVAC, windows, electrical systems, parking lots. It could reach your fleet. It could reach furniture, fixtures, and equipment. You associate model numbers, lifespans, expected replacement costs, and maintenance history with those items. So you can imagine a day, tomorrow, once this is in place, that you could pull up a report and say, what is my expected deferred maintenance cost for 2029? And you could create a report. You could understand what is at the end of your life cycle, what needs replacement, what needs addressed, from every single asset you have within the city. And we have the capability to do that and keep it alive and train your staff to then keep that tool up to date and serve you for a long time to come. And so this is a tool that's kind of coming onto the market new, and we're excited to show you how this works, and we plan as one of our first engagements to do some demos for the city to see how that engagement could come forward. Yep, we're good. In terms of the project implementation strategy, we want to do that citywide efficiency evaluation again. It's our expectation to not only kind of expand upon what we found originally, but take into the thought process some of the current priorities of the city. And we'll come back to you in several different fashions. We'll come back to you in a conceptual, a midterm, and a final design meeting. And then we want to look at key facility modernizations. We've already targeted several areas, Parks and Rec, Public Works, and the utilities buildings. we know right now are in need of some immediate improvements. You've made some recent hires on the Parks and Rec side, and there's some exciting things that are going on. We do not want to stop or change any of those existing plans, but more put our eyes on things that could be done in terms of lessons learned from other cities. So we kind of see our first engagement in terms of modernizing the city in terms of efficiency with LED lighting and then some of those key facilities. A second phase, I think, would revolve around what the previous administration had as kind of a heavy-hitting topic, which was this facility in general on the HVAC side. Everything in this facility is original to the building. You're served by the central plant, which is also shared by the Civic Center, which we want to just provide you an opinion on. We understand the Civic Center is there. We do not know the future plans with it, but we want to take a look at it and let you know what we think the existing infrastructure looks like and what our recommendations would be in terms of that. And then ultimately we could work through the remaining portfolio of buildings to see what sort of improvement modernizations exist, but we kind of see this as a multi-phase step. So any questions with that? Okay.
I don't have a question. Well, I do have a question, but you just made a statement. You said, for example, you said everything is original in here. And that is not true.
Just the HVAC systems.
There
That's
you
what I
go.
was saying, not the building itself.
Okay, thank you. Next, my question is, since 2016, you're talking in general. Will you be specific, for my purpose anyway? What have you done? What have you found that needs to be done? And when will you start?
Sure. So our original analysis found lighting, building envelope, water efficiencies, HVAC issues, security components that we thought could be upgraded, exterior lighting from a safety and security standpoint. And that's just about every single building that we saw some of these issues. Now, of course, your newer buildings have less issues, or buildings that have gone through recent renovations. But we see opportunities for all of those kind of building-wide improvement measures. We also saw a need on some of your telecommunications and IT systems. And then on the water wastewater side, we saw some improvements that could be done in a variety of ways. But that obviously comes in conjunction with your utilities department. Sorry. Building envelope is both the ceiling of the building in terms of cracks and holes and various things that are in the building, as well as windows, roofing, doors, weather stripping, glazing, all of those sorts of things, are taken into effect when we do this analysis. And so we found opportunities for all that originally, and we think that, we'll find additional ones and kind of reconfirm what we found originally as well. And in terms of the plan of moving forward, that's when I had talked about the original coming back to you, thank you, with our conceptual design. That will provide you a good overview of each and every facility that we look at, what we find, what we would recommend. We'd collaborate with your administration on what we see fit as a first phase, and then we would move into final design from there. We'd come back to you, present that to you. You would have multiple points of engagement and feedback with our organization to make sure that ultimately what we sign off on is something that you're going to be behind and that you've had plenty of input on.
Schedule's on the screen.
Yes, the schedule is on the screen up there.
That's what's your timeline?
So, timeline, you got it. So we do hope to have folks on site in December and then have a conceptual meeting by the end of Q1. Final design is slated sometime mid-summer, and then we would like to have construction starting in the fall. Any other questions that you have? Thank you all, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you all being patient with us and presenting these findings. We do appreciate it.
Council members, are there any outstanding questions or other items we have not covered in the work session that you would care to cover tonight? Very good.
Looks like we're good to go.
We'll continue to work on these items, and we'll be bringing forward some other highlights of work that's ongoing within the city, especially related to some of those areas that we hear most from the public about.
All right, thank you. This officially closes our work session. Thank you again, Schneider, for being here to present to us, and also Code Enforcement for the updates you provided. All right, so now we have made it to the formal portion of our council agenda. I will first start with requesting a motion to adopt the agenda.
Mayor, I move to adopt the agenda as is.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson, seconded by Councilman Bibb. All in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries. Item number 2 is a formal public comments portion. If anyone has a comment they would like to make about an agenda item, that is item 3 through item 10, you will have your time at the podium to make your voice heard. So if you would please approach the podium if you have something to say about a specific item on our agenda. Anyone with a general comment will have another opportunity once the official agenda items are closed out. Please be sure to state your name and address for the record. 3 minutes will be on the clock at the rotunda. Neither I nor council can respond to you, but we are listening. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Council. I'm Brian Braun with Axis Engineering Consultants. I'm here on behalf of Patriot Development Group talking about the Southland Station development. Mr. Darian did a great job of elaborating on that project. We are going from 150 townhomes, which we did have a land disturbance permit on, and we're ready to start construction. However, we've decided to move forward with single-family lots, so it will be a 50% reduction in density. As Mr. Darian said, we do not have a sidewalk on the perimeter, as we were here before and got that approved. So I know you're not going to ask me any questions, but if you have any, be glad to answer them. Don't want to take up any more of your time.
Thank you, Mr. Walt. Will there be any others? Going once, going twice. The door is now closed. All right, now on to item number 3, which is the consent agenda to be discussed by Councilman Bibb.
Thank you, Mayor. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Bibb, seconded by Councilman Mack. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 4 is a resolution for an intergovernmental agreement for the Oconee Drug Task Force to be discussed by Councilman Holmes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have before us a motion to approve a resolution to authorize Mayor LaRonda W. Patrick to execute an intergovernmental agreement among Dodge County Sheriff Office, Wheeler County Sheriff Office, Telfair County Sheriff Office, Pulaski County Sheriff's Office, Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, Lawrence County Sheriff's Office, Bleckley County Sheriff's Office, City of Dublin Police Department, City of McRae Police Department, City of Warner Robins Police Department, City of Eastman's Police Department, District Attorney Office of the Oconee Judicial District, District Attorney of the Dublin Judicial District, District Attorney of the Houston Judicial District, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation collectively, forming the Oconee Drug Task Force, Middle Georgia Gang Task Force. I move for the adoption.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilman Holmes, seconded by Councilman Lashley. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 5 is an ordinance for a budget transfer to be discussed by Councilman Curtis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I motion to approve an ordinance that $45,564.49 be transferred from the Opera Interest General Ledger Account 22.46001 and placed into the expenditure account 22. 0000000 52021 interest professional service.
I second that motion.
And I'm sorry, I waived the second reading.
I second that motion.
Motion by Councilman Curtis, waiving the second reading, seconded by Councilman Holmes. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 6 is a motion for purchase approval to be discussed by Councilman Lawrenson.
Thank you, Mayor. I do motion to approve a purchase approval for Southeastern Systems Technologies security systems not to exceed $45,564.49.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson, seconded by Councilman Bibb. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 7 is an ordinance for classification plan update to be discussed by Councilman Lashley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion to approve the ordinance that the city classification plan be amended as follows. Create the position of Assistant Director of Building and Inspections, job class number 823, grade 24, authorized strength of 1, Building and Inspections Department. Reclassify the position of Assistant Utility Director, job class 970, grade 23, authorized strength of 1, Utility Department to grade 24, incumbent to receive a 10% increase. And that the city's finance department is authorized to transfer funds between departments and between line items within a department in the fiscal year 2025 budget as necessary to facilitate the changes to the city's classification plan based off of this ordinance. And I would like to waive that second reading.
I second.
Motion by Councilman Lashley, motion by Councilman Lashley, waiving the second reading, seconded by Councilman Curtis. Any discussion?
Yes, I would like to add that the full ordinance can be found online in the packet.
Any further discussion?
Mayor Patrick, if I could, one of the parts of that was not specified in the motion was the appointment of Vic Savage to the position of Assistant Director of Building and Inspections.
I would gladly like to amend my motion to appoint Victor Savage to the position of Assistant Director of Building and Inspections.
Okay, we have a revised motion.
I second.
Okay, we have a revised motion made by Councilman Lashley, waiving the second reading, seconded by Councilman Curtis. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 8 is a motion for PDR revision to be discussed by Councilman Mack.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve the request for revision of the PDR concept Southland Station at Tallulah Trail of the overall concept from the previously approved townhome development to a design consisting of single-family detached homes on 75 independent building lots.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Mack, seconded by Councilman Bibb. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 9 is an ordinance for annexation requested by the Boeing Company to be discussed by Councilman Bibb.
Thank you, Mayor. I make a motion to approve the ordinance for the annexation request by the Boeing Company of the property, including all right-of-ways totaling 1.54 acres located at the southwest corner of the intersection of Russell Parkway and Welborn Road, also known as tax parcel 001220 008-000, and I would like to waive the second reading.
And I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Bibb, waiving the second reading, seconded by Councilman Mack. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 10 is an ordinance for annexation requested by Southern Media Group to be discussed by Councilman Curtis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A motion to approve the ordinance for annexation requested by Southern Media Group of property including all right-of-ways totaling .35 acres located at the southwest end of the intersection of South Houston Lake Road and Oasis Avenue, also known as Tax Partial 00075A 078000, and I wish to waive the second reading.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Curtis, waiving the second reading, seconded by Councilman Holmes. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. There is a request to amend the agenda.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add item 7A, reflecting the appointment of Building and Inspections Assistant Director.
I second.
Motion by Councilman Lashley, seconded by Councilman Curtis. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. All right, that has completed the formal agenda items for today's council meeting. We have now approached the end for citizen comments. If there's anyone here who would like to make a comment, you have a question or a concern that you would like to state, please approach the podium. You will have 3 minutes on the clock at the top of the rotunda. Please be sure to state your name and address for the record. Please note that neither I nor council may respond to you, but we are listening to you. The floor is now open.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilman. I live at 121 Lawrenceburg Lane, Robert Behringer. And of course, we are annexing the city about 8 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a road that come in, which is Overfort Road, which is a county road. And the road is a half a mile long, and the county takes care of cutting the easement. And it takes 10 to 12 weeks for them to come by. And of course, if I'm not mistaken, the city takes care of Highway 96 right down there, and it's just a little half a mile road, and it seemed like the Dixie group could come over there and take care of that little road, and it would help the citizens in Jasmine subdivision. And then another thing I would like to mention, and I did speak to this gentleman here a while ago about it. You know, I've been living in Warner Robins for 52 years, Houston County. When I first came here, there was 49,000 folks. Now there's 179,000 folks. And of course, I drive the school bus, and I know where everything is. And unfortunately, I see lots of people when they go out, maybe they just don't realize it. They'll take some trash and throw it out the window. And you know, that's not helping the city. And not helping the city, but also the county. And somehow or another, I thought to myself, if somehow or another y'all could put it on your page where it mentioned, you know, instead of throwing the trash out, take it home, take it to your office, put it in a trash can somewhere, because out there on 96 Russell Parkway, Houston Lake Road, Sandy Run, Dunbar Road, you can go down those roads any day of the week where some of the people done pick it up, and then the next day it's there again. And I think the citizen ought to consider putting the trash in the trash can at their workplace or in their home place. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Behringer. Will there be any others? Going once, going twice. The door is now closed. Thank you each for your input. And we did neglect to do one thing. We have 2 individuals that were on that classification plan update, and I do believe they are here. So If those two gentlemen will please come forward so that we can congratulate you. Thank you both to your contribution to buildings and inspections and to utilities. All right, so now we're moving on to council comments. And the next person up is going to be Councilman Holmes.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you to the public, those of you who are not here, who are looking at us through video, and those of you who are present. Thank you for your continued support. Thank you for coming to us. Thank you for calling on us. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to serve you. That is what we're here for. That is our #1 priority, and that will not change. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. And congratulations on your reelection.
Thank you, ma'am.
Councilman Curtis, it's your turn.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I know, Vic, that is actually a new position for you, so I just want to say congratulations again. I want to congratulate everyone, Councilman Mack, Councilman Lawrence, and Councilman Hall on your reelection, and most definitely congratulations to you, Madam Mayor, with your very decisive win. And I want to encourage everybody, I think tomorrow at 5 o'clock at the Houston County Annex Building on car events, and there is a county commissioner meeting, and I encourage each and every one of y'all to make sure that y'all attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mack.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to also congratulate Councilman Holmes and Councilman Lawrence and our honorable mayor on their reelection. A lot of hard work, and just thank you to continue to serve with you all in that capacity. But I want to give a special recognition to some people. First of all, continue to pray for the people in Jamaica that were suffering from the consequences of Hurricane Melissa, and the 3 countries that were impacted by that. Over 700 healthcare facilities, over 5 million people impacted. But we had some local people from Warner Robins that were stuck and had to ride that storm out and couldn't get home. And I just want to thank the Lord that they were able to make it home approximately 4 or 5 days later, going through being gouged, trying to for money and things of that nature. They were true victims of that, but they made it home safely. So I want to recognize those people and thank God for covering them during that most horrendous storm in that region since about 1988. I'd also we've had some inclement weather locally here, some very cold days, but during those inclement weather and those cold days, the city doesn't stop. So with that being said, I'd like to recognize the good men and women of our utilities department and our public works department as they were still reporting to work, doing the city's business for the people in our city to make sure that we were seamless in what it is that we take for granted sometimes. So thank you, Monty, thank you, Craig, and everybody involved in those departments. You have a great group of people working for you, and it's an extension of your leadership, so thank you very much. Also, code enforcement, Captain Clay, we've already talked about them. Thank them for what they do because they get beat up a lot. A lot of rumors they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. This and that. Those people work very hard, and they always answer the phone, and a lot of times they're placed in the lion's den and in front of the fire, dealing with very upset citizens and get blamed for a lot of stuff that they shouldn't be. So I just want to really keep them encouraged because they carry a heavy burden with keeping our city clean. Congratulations one more again to the men of Omega Psi Phi and our mayor for her award. And congratulations to the Houston County Bears and the Warner Robins Demons for their win in the first round of the playoffs. And may they continue to go on as they run for state championship with HOCO being trying to get their first state championship. So I want to congratulate both of those teams. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman, and congratulations on your reelection as well. All right, Councilman Bibb.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to congratulate Councilman Mack, Councilman Lawrenson, and Mr. Councilman Clifford Holmes, and you, Mayor, for your reelection. It's going to be an honor to serve with you guys for another couple of years as we move forward and got great things going on for this city. I look forward to it. Big shout out to the code enforcement and the changes that have been made and the upgrades. And again, I want the code enforcement employees to know that I believe wholeheartedly that you have the mayor and the council's backing for what you guys are accomplishing and what we want to accomplish and continue to accomplish, that you know that you got people sitting back here that are rooting you on and are here for you. I want to congratulate Ron and Vic on your promotions. Hoorah to y'all. Long time coming. You guys both deserve that. And then the last thing I want to say is our Christmas parade is coming up. And so tell all the community to come out to the Christmas parade and enjoy community involvement as we march down Watson Boulevard, which was another promise that I think the mayor made coming into re-election that has kind of like forgotten, but that was another one that we get to enjoy, to go down Watson Boulevard. There's nothing like the parade down there. And so congratulations, y'all. Congratulations on your award, Mayor. Well deserved.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Lawrenson.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank my friend Bob for speaking tonight, and you know, it would be a really great idea if we could put more emphasis out there on littering. I'm not sure if we have a lot of no littering signs around our community, but that's something also we could certainly look at doing. Bob made me think of that when he was talking about, you know, making announcements and things like that. So I think it would be a great idea. And of course, I know we have a Keep Warner Robins Beautiful committee that does a lot of work in that area, but any effort we make in that area, I think would be a huge benefit to our city. I also would like to congratulate the mayor. You know, Person of the Year, that award, just based on what I heard about who's received this award, is a pretty doggone big deal. And I don't want to just like say, oh great, a mayor got an award, and that was wonderful, but it's a pretty big deal. And I think it's because of what you've been able to accomplish in 4 short years. And to think about, I really think that we were able to be unopposed. A lot has to do with you and your work and your support of us. And so I want to thank you for that as well. And my wife really wants to thank you because she just didn't want to do that again. But anyway, thank you for all that you do. And I can't help but think about the amazing things that we're going to be able to accomplish in your second term. But I do say this with a warning. Anytime things seem to be going in the right direction, the enemy will attack. So let's stay united. Let's commit to stay together, lock arms, and commit. And what you said a while ago, Mayor, you know, I've heard it said before, but it really hit home. People over politics. And I think that should be the theme of your second administration, as it very much was your first, because that's how we get things done. So thank you so much for your leadership. Thanks to all my brothers up here, and look forward to the next 4 years. And boy, hopefully in 2 years the other 3 can go unopposed as well, if that's their desire to run again. Wouldn't that be great? Okay, we'll see. We'll pray for that. You never know. But anyway, God bless you all. Good night.
Thank you, Councilman, and congratulations on your reelection. All right, and Councilman Lashley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, gentlemen, good job. Madam Mayor, wonderful campaign. I was very proud. I enjoyed, there was a little special surprise party for her at the, was it Lavina? Yeah, and I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now, if y'all haven't been to that place, you need to go. It is beautiful inside there. It's right there on Kimberly and Russell Parkway, right behind Fried Green Tomatoes. And when you walk into the backyard they've got set up, you look like you're in somebody's neighborhood backyard. It is just gorgeous there. They do a wonderful service and a wonderful job. But again, congratulations to my 3 counterparts up here on the council, and most importantly, and our wonderful mayor. Ron and Vic, congratulations. Vic, you and I have been together for a long time, man. Love watching the growth. It's awesome. We did, I was told to, of course, comment about cheer, because I know y'all needed an update, but so our girls at Houston County, they had a great season this year. We did win region. We went on and we competed at state this last Saturday. We ended up second in the state. So 3 years in a row. It's not bad. There's a lot of teams that don't make it. They take the top 16 from every division, and we finished second again, much to our chagrin. But the thing I took from it the most is, like, my oldest daughter is a senior, and the rest of the seniors, you know, there were a few little tears here and there, but they walked off that floor and they laid it all out there, and they had no regrets. So that's awesome. I am going to unfortunately miss the Christmas parade this year because I will be in Charleston at a cheer competition. So imagine that. I hate that because I had a huge plan this year. We were gonna bring my vehicle, pull our boat behind it. We were gonna be pirates back there, and it was gonna be awesome. But cat's out of the bag, so we'll have to do something different for next year. The other thing that just remember, next week is my favorite holiday coming up, Thanksgiving. It is the best holiday. Just remember what it's for. Give thanks for your family, your community, your friends, and eat lots of turkey because I'm planning on doing it. So thank you all again, and have a good night.
Thank you, Councilman. And thank you all for being here with us. Thank you for being here with us and for hanging in there as we went through our work session. We appreciate all of the information that we received during our work sessions, and we thank you. Thank you for your support as we have completed another election season, and none of us have any extra gray hairs, so I'd say that was successful. And have a happy Thanksgiving, because we won't see you until right before our Christmas parade kicks off. Yeah, so have a happy Thanksgiving. Get ready for Christmas, our Christmas tree lighting celebration, and Christmas tree lighting celebration and our parade that first week of December. It's going to be a great, great event. So with that, I am going to say that our meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.